Elliot Threet is here along with us today. Very, very funny stand-up comic and my friend for many years. Elliot Threet is here. And you seem very excited. I'm excited to have Marilu Henner on.
I'm very excited. I love her.
Yeah.
I watch her on every season of Taxi.
I loved her on Taxi, but then when I found out she actually is the human being who comes the closest to having mutant-like superpowers, I loved her even more since I found out about that. Hello,
amazing woman.
Hello, Marilu.
Nope. We can't hear you.
Yeah, we can't.
Oh, you know what? A button was not pushed. Marilu, I just gave you the best introduction ever. You have to take my word for it. Yeah, it was the best. How are you, Marilu?
I have to TiVo it.
Yeah. You're now on Dancing with the Stars, but
yes, I am.
You were
I'm so excited. It's unbelievable. It's such a crazy experience, and I've wanted to do it for so long, and now that I'm doing it, it's just even more intense than I thought it would be.
When you say you've wanted to do it, you actually were a super fan, like a super fan.
Like a crazy rabid fan. Yeah, my joke is that they were either going to let me do it or there was going to be a restraining order because I was following them all on Twitter and, sending out all kinds of, tweets and information about them and coming to the show once in a while, so it was time.
Hey, Marilu, I have a question. My name's I love it on the show because you're of a certain age, like a lot of us are, and is it always pitted almost the young folks against the old folks because, the people who are a little bit older, over 40, don't seem to hang out as long as the younger dancers do?
Well, who knows? But, I just always feel like me. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm just always competing against myself and my expectations for myself. So, and I think because I've always had a lot of energy, which is why our team is called Hennergy, because I'm with Derek Hough, and he's got so much energy.
Oh, my gosh.
Our names begin with H, and we, so that's why that's our team name. But I don't know. I'm just so excited to I'm not classifying, this person's that age. I don't even know how old most of the people are, but I'm definitely the oldest female and Rick Perry's the oldest guy, so that's the way it goes.
Does your memory help you remember the dance moves better? Because, I know that choreography gets pretty intense, and when I watch it on TV, the rehearsals, it's always remembering the moves that seems to be the hardest part.
Well, what's so funny is that I may have found the one area where I thought, this is going to come in handy, and sometimes I have to, undo it. Because Derek changes things so often, but I'll be just into it, and he'll say, oh, what are you doing? And I went, oh, yeah, that's yesterday's step, or that was 3 days ago's step. You know what I mean? So it's kind of funny what happens with that. So I kind of don't, I can't let everything seep into deeply, sear it into my brain just yet until it's kind of solid, till we know exactly what we're doing.
We're talking to Marilu Henner, and I made reference in the introduction, which I guess Marilu didn't hear, that I loved her at Taxi, but I love her even more when I found out that she has the closest to superhuman mutant powers. That is your super autobiographical memory, which I saw on 60 Minutes. And Fernie, I was trying to explain to Fernie, he can't just name he could name a date, but the thing is with you, and I think it's only 12 other people on the planet that can do this.
Well, the number keeps changing. There are people who are in different percentiles, so there's a very small number of us that are in the 99 percentile of this. And so, it's basically, this is what it is. Most people would remember 8 to 11 events within any year. If I named a year in your life, you could probably come up with 8 to 11 days that you have pretty good, solid memories for.
Yeah, I could probably
people
do it, sure.
Who have highly superior autobiographical memery, we virtually remember every day of our lives, or what the criteria now says, 200 to 300 65 or 66 days within the year.
Wow.
And, you name a date within our lifetimes, we'll tell you what day of the week it was and what we were doing on that day.
Well, that's incredible.
So, it's something that I've had my entire life. Even as a little child at 6 years old, I'd fall asleep at night, and I'd think, what did I do a year ago in kindergarten? When I was in first grade, I'd think, what was happening exactly a year ago, or what was I doing when I was exactly to the day my little brother's age, and, things like that. And I still, to this day, if I'm having trouble sleeping or if I'm too revved up, I'll go back into a memory. I'll sort of time travel. Or sometimes I'll listen to an album, I'll have it on my iPhone, and I'll be walking, and I'll listen to an entire album of music, and I'll go through an entire year, starting with January 1st, and just do the whole year. Just to pass the time. It's a time travel exercise, like a meditation or something.
They talked to some of the folks who, I think it's the same phenomenon. On NPR I heard one time, and some of the people were saying, the downside is if you had something really tragic in your life, it doesn't fade, like the memory of it doesn't fade. Is that...
What's so funny? I was asked to do that NPR thing, and because I don't feel that way, I think they didn't want me to be on it, and because I think a lot of times people want to put a category because they want to understand it in somewhere. But here's the thing. Memory is tied to adrenaline. It's been proven. So you will remember those horrible memories, and you will remember those glorious memories in your life. What our advantage is to having this kind of memory is we remember all the middle-of-the-road memories, which is kind of really like the fabric of your life, like cotton. It's the fabric of your life. And that's what I try to help people with in terms of my books, my theories about memory. But people, I think, want to feel like this is not a good thing because you do remember the bad stuff. But everybody remembers the bad stuff. That's why we have PTSD. That's why we have so many other things. And I feel that if you bring back the middle memories, what happens is you cushion some of those bad memories, plus you are able to process them more thoroughly. And I think that, you're not going to get rid of them anyway. So it's ridiculous to think that you really are. I mean, unless you want to just walk around like a zombie all the time.
Marilu, did you see a movie called... Did you see a movie called with Scarlett Johansson called Lucy?
Yes,
and I know there's that one scene where she says she remembers everything. I thought you could really relate to that. I don't know if you saw this movie.
In Limitless.
Yeah, yes, exactly. Yeah, those two little things.
But it's a powerful feeling. It's like having, Google in your head. It's like having something always available to you so that you are able to point, it's like doing a check. Like before you make a move, you could say, oh, wait a minute, I did something like this before, 4 years ago on a Tuesday or something, and it didn't turn out well. Let me process this a little bit better before I do the similar kind of conversation.
Now, do you hear that, Marilu?
You're able to cross-connect information.
Marilu has Google for a brain. That's an amazing
remarkable.
How close were you to the Lochte incident earlier this week?
That was so interesting because we were backstage, getting ready to come on for the finale, and we're watching, you're watching the monitor because you're watching everybody dance, and you're feeling like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm actually here. And all of a sudden, just like the viewer at home, because it's a live show, I could tell Carrie Ann Inaba, her energy just sort of shifted and changed, and she was like, excuse me, and then we see this body go flying across, so it was a security guard who had tackled the guys. Now, I had family sitting not far away from these protesters, and what they said was, these two guys got up, they had taken their jackets off, they had this Lochte T-shirt with a circle with his name in the circle and then a line through it. They got up and they sort of sauntered on stage like they couldn't believe they weren't being tackled. But nothing had ever happened like this.
Yeah, crazy.
So they didn't rush the stage. They walked there like, I can't believe we're getting away with this. Now what? We expected to be taken down a lot sooner. And then they sort of got in the personal space, and then the guard took them down. Then it turned out that there was this block of women with the same T-shirt on. So as the men were being carted off, Derek Hough had gone out there, and he feels so protective of the show. It's like his home. And he said, no, you have to go too. He said it a little more strongly.
To the women that were...
You get out of here too.
Are you concerned at all about security at this point, or do you think that's the one thing we're going to see, and has it not really affected you in that way?
I think you're going to see tighter security, and maybe people are going to want to see if you have a T-shirt on underneath some of your clothes. Right. But it was just a ridiculous display of whatever, and everybody deserves a chance, and it's not the time or place for that. Have a protest someplace else. So he was already supposed to do Dancing with the Stars, and he's doing it. Whatever is happening at the other part of his career, then that's what's happening.
All right,
but we're in a show.
Well, Marilu, I am just so impressed.
Can you ask her about the Grease conspiracy? She was in the roadshow to Grease.
Oh, that's so ridiculous.
that they were dead the whole time, that thing? Yeah. No, the writer came out.
And people will go, listen, I can't believe I did that show in the original company in Chicago before it even went to Broadway. I turned it down, not only because I was starting the University of Chicago, but also because I thought, it's never going to be a hit because it's such Chicago show. How stupid was I? But here's, that show's been in existence for so long that to give it some kind of other new buzz, I guess, they have to now say that they were dead. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Okay, well, thank you, Marilu. I'm impressed with you on so many levels, and it's always fun to talk to you. Okay.
So fun talking to you guys.
Thank you, Marilu. Bye-bye. Best of luck on Dancing with the Stars. There you go. They time this stuff.
Yeah.
If we go, they get us off the phone in a hurry. But